Okay, just to finish up this chimney real quick, there's a few finishing touches we need to do, which should be pretty easy. Let's make a copy of it so that we always have that chunk. Let's now isolate this chunk and take it and collapse it all to an editable poly by right-clicking, converting to edit poly. Okay, now go into border mode and create and hit Control A. That will select any borders you have, which means any open edges. We don't want open edges, those are bad. So you can see that there's some in here where we did our symmetries and that didn't weld together. Open means it's not welded to anything. So if we now hold down Control and go into vertices, it'll select all the vertices that were connected to that border. And let's do a weld on them. And make it smaller than 3/32, but go down to 0 and click this one at a time and you'll see that number change, meaning that some welds are happening. So we just welded, looks like 6 different welds. Go a little higher. Okay, now we're getting a lot of welds going on and it's not actually changing the look or feel of our bricks, which is exactly what we want. So now that should all be clean in there. Let's see, so go back into border mode and hit Control A again. Now the only borders are selected are the top and the bottom, which we're actually going to cap. Actually, before we do that, let's put our turbo smooth on. Make sure everything's working here. Everything looks really clean. Yes, that's beautiful. Now we need to get our noise going on before. Let's see, maybe we can, let's try this. Let's cap it first. So go back to our borders, hit cap, and then put the turbo smooth on. See, that doesn't really work very well. Although it might be fine. We need to find a way to stack all this brick on top of each other. You don't want to do the whole chimney at once because that would take forever the way we just created it. Let's select these two faces and inset them slightly. Now turbo smooth. That should be fine. It's ugly on top, but we can stack that actually, because we have that good edge there. Now what we can do is just stack this. Oh, dang it. We have grout on the top and bottom. We don't want that. So that doesn't quite match up. Let's go into here and hit grow. We already had those top and bottom faces selected. We want to keep the top one, delete the bottom one. So let's delete all of those faces right there. Then cap it. Select the border, hit cap. Now turbo smooth. Yeah, that'll have to do. And we'll just place it like right there. So now it'll be a seamless transition. And now just stack these all the way up. Don't instance them, copy them. Okay, right there, that grout line isn't as big as the others because I copied it the wrong distance. But we're getting pretty close. Now what you can do is on each one of these, and actually we should do this first. Okay, so let's undo what I just did. Let's take this one and put a noise modifier on it. Noise. Okay, set it down to about 5. Make it fractal. And then put this to about 0.25 inches, quarter of an inch. That means your model will randomly move a quarter of an inch in the X direction and the Y direction. Actually, in this instance, we want it in the Z, which is what we would normally think of as the Y. But now there's just some variation going on. If you look at that edge, you can see it's broken up a little bit. So that creates that randomness. And you can actually mess with the scale and you can see the waves going through it. You can mess with the roughness. Like that. That actually looks pretty good right there. So that's kind of like the bricks in the picture. So that's good. Let's leave it like that. And you can copy this, right click on it and copy it and paste it to here. And what you want to do to make sure it doesn't match this exactly is change the phase. No, not the phase. The seed. There you go. Okay, so now there's two different noises on there. And one thing that I do sometimes that I could do here, let's do it just for the heck of it, is make another noise that's really small, like even 0.5 scale. Make it fractal as well. Move it just a slight distance. So you can get different noise patterns going on in here. So that's more of a smaller scale noise. And that's a little extreme. I don't think that's what that brick actually looks like. But the point is you can do different scales working together to create the exact kind of distortion you want. What I'm going to do is go back to that and delete this. Because that's about right there. Now I can take this, oops, copy it up. Place it in the correct spot, and then change the seed of that noise so it looks different than the one below. And you can copy both of these and just keep going like this forever, and then you'll have, well, until your chimney's tall enough, not forever. Then you'll have a really nice chimney with some variation in it, and the grout will look about right. Then you're just going to get the right material on there, and those bricks should look pretty good for your scene to match our particular picture, like that. And you can see, to get it just right in here, you'd really have to go in and just individually model each brick and grout line just perfectly, because the noise isn't going to recreate it perfectly, but this will look close enough that it kind of fools your eye to make it look realistic. So that's my best shot at it. You give it your best shot. See what you can do. Like I said, there's other ways to attack this. This is the way that I found works best and looks the best, looks the closest to our picture. Because of the deeper grout lines for the horizontal and the smaller ones for the vertical, it makes it kind of difficult. And because of that grout line being inverted like that, all these things make it a special problem. And this was the best way I found to attack it. And keep that in mind as you're doing projects like this. There's always different ways to do things, and you got to find the best way that works for you, for your scene, that you can figure out, and just go for it. And practice, tweak, etc., etc., until it looks really good.